Hey there, graphic designers. Today we're going to take a look at putting our music box together. So we're going to start with this file right here. This is pretty much where everything is going to go when we're done. So everything will be in Illustrator, although most of our work will be done in Photoshop. If we look at this file, we got 5 different layers right here. We got to make sure that our color mode is an RGB, because with the laser engraver, it only works with RGB. So this file is already set for you guys. We have 2 layers here with red lines. Anything that is red on a laser engraving document is going to take and cut. So we got our inside top, which will be when we open the box up. And then we have our outside box, which is basically all the line work around the outside of it. We have 2 blank layers right here that are unlocked. Let me like that guy right there. These 2 layers right here will be where you guys are taking and putting your artwork. So anything going on the outside of the box will be on this one right here. Anything going on the inside of the box will go right here. So again, these guys up here correlate with these ones. So if you want it on the inside of the box, you can see it's this bottom right one that turns on and off. You would place your work on this one right here. Last layer is our descriptions. We can take and turn this off and on. I'm leaving them on right now just so you guys can see where they're at. When we are done with this file, this will get turned off. I'm going to switch over to Photoshop right now. I'm going to do a little Harry Potter themed one. So I got the Hogwarts Castle, the Harry Potter logo right now, and then I bring in some other imagery and logos as well. With the laser engraver, we know that red takes and cuts. Anything black will take and engrave. So the laser engraver works based on color. So right now, this is a black and white image that I found. It's pretty straightforward and easy. All I need to do with this one is go save as. I'm going to call it Harry Potter HP logo here. Save it onto my desktop as a Photoshop file. So something like this, not much work has to happen with. Now you can have an image or 2 like this on your logo or on your music box, but I would like to see some photorealistic stuff put on there as well, because this will take a little bit of work. For this guy, there's a couple of things we got to do. So first of all, we know that the laser engraver works with black and white. This has got greens and blues on it. It's not going to work. So we need to take and get rid of that color. So I'm going to take and do a image mode and go to grayscale to get rid of that color. Now the way that the laser engraver works, it either sees black and will engrave or sees white and won't. So when we got areas like this in here, it's going to see this all as black, and it'll basically engrave one big black blob, which is not what we're looking for taken to do. Same with like in here, we're not going to see any of those details, because it kind of just looks at, is it black or is it white? And if it's a shade of gray, the laser engraver will determine on its own whether it wants to engrave it or not based on how dark it is. So our job is to take and make this look more like a newspaper print, where we have areas of black, areas of white, and we're using like a halftone pattern to take and kind of trick the laser engraver. So first thing I'm going to do is go to filter. I'm going to do a filter gallery, and we are looking for this halftone pattern that's right here. So all these guys kind of do different things. We're looking for this halftone pattern, which is more of how like newspaper prints, where it's not the greatest quality, but when we take and put it into the laser engraver, it'll look a lot cleaner. So size we want to leave low, contrast we want to leave pretty low. So for this one, it's pretty good. You can see if we increase the size, we just get larger dots that we're working with. So I'm going to leave this down at 1. If we increase the contrast, you're increasing the black and white difference between it. So there's a better way of playing with that contrast rather than doing it right here. So right now, we're just looking at having our size low, our contrast low. We'll hit OK. We can start to see that halftone pattern that's working in there. And now we're going to take and use our levels to control how much black and white and detail that we're seeing. So right now, it's pretty dark in this area. There's probably not going to be much detail that we're going to see. Same with a little bit over here. So what I can do is take my white and I can slide it over, and it'll start to lighten that image up. We lose the clouds, which I'm not really worried about because we still see a little bit of clouds here, but we're starting to see some of the detail in here. So I can kind of play with my white slider. I can play with the gray slider as well. That'll bring some detail back into it. So about here is probably pretty good for this image. And every image is going to be a little bit different because the colors are always a little bit different in every image that you're looking at. But when I'm looking at this, I can see details in the rocks. I can see details in Hogwarts. We can still see the rings here. Clouds are still coming through. So this is probably a pretty good layout for this guy right here. Once this is done, we'll do a save as. Call that one Hogwarts. Spelled it wrong there, but that's all right. Then we'll come over to Illustrator and we'll start bringing our images in. So if I go File Open, grab the two images that I was just working on, it will flatten it for us because we're bringing it into Illustrator. And then I'm going to take and do a copy and paste. Right now I have paste remembers layers. So when I paste it in here, it's going to go onto a different layer. I'm going to turn that off. I want this one to be on the outside design. So now when I paste it in, it shows up on the outside layer. We're going to shrink it up. Remember to hold shift so it stays proportional. And I'm going to probably want this one right in the front right there. Grab my Hogwarts, do the same thing. Paste it in here, holding shift to shrink it up. Maybe this guy will take and go on the back of the box. Make sure it's kind of centered on there. So I'd still bring in my other few designs to take and go on the other sides. Again, this is when we open up the box. If you're not doing a music box and you're going to do like a little jewelry or keepsake box, the one thing that you need to do is get rid of the circle right here. The circle is where the music winder would take and stick through. So what you guys can do is unlock that layer, grab that little circle and delete it. Again, you're only doing that if you're not doing a music box. Once this is done, you can save it as an Illustrator file and we'll be able to take it into the laser engraving program.